Labor Day holiday in Miami. How about some Mets and Marlins? Fire up the grill, ice down the beverages. Hey, you on the beach, looking good. Mets are in town, 3-gamer, always lively, always intense. So sit back, relax. Mets, Marlins, let's crush it. It is Labor Day in Miami, and to all of you, I hope you're having a great holiday. Marlins Park is ready to go for the Mets and the Marlins. A 3-game series starts this afternoon. And for the Fish, 6.5 back in the wild card, a 3-6 road trip. The question is, can they get hot? The Mets are in town. It's a 3-gamer. Henderson Alvarez is on the hill. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. There's no doubt the Marlins need to get hot, and maybe it's a home series against the Mets that gets them going. It seems when the Marlins and the Mets play, there's always something that's a little intense and a little different.
Well, there has been, but the Mets have had control so far. The Mets have won 5 in a row against the Marlins. But I'm looking at it this way. A lot of the Marlins' numbers, pitchers, hitters alike, are much better at home. So they're at home for this 3-game series against the Mets.
One particular hitter, an MVP candidate, is better at home than he is on the road. Giancarlo Stanton on the road trip, and the Fish, as I noted, were just 3-6. He had a pretty good start, had a nice home run, and then things kind of fizzled.
Well, he took a shot off Corey Rasmus, his 33rd home run of the year, 150 for his career. On the road trip, Giancarlo struggled with the strikeouts. Since that home run, you see the average is down. Overall on the trip, because he did some damage in Denver, he was okay. He had 9 RBIs. I'm looking positive. I'm looking at the big picture. He leads the National League. Home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage, total bases, and he's hit much better at home than on the road.
Better at home than on the road. Henderson Alvarez gets the ball. The entertainer is always fun to watch. Now, Alvarez at home, really good. His last 2 road starts, not so much.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, look at the road starts, the key to those 2 road starts, he gave up 4 home runs, 2 in each of the starts. Missed with location. A lot of his pitches were up. The bottom line, at home, 6-2 with a 1.46 ERA.
I like that. Entertaining music behind the entertainer. Now, this feels like home for Zach Wheeler because he's pitched so well here.
Zach Wheeler has 2 starts in Marlins Park. He's thrown 15 innings, and he's given up no runs. He's been tough against the Marlins all year.
Those the Chevron starters for a Labor Day matchup. Labor Day schedule? Well, for the Marlins, a quick turnaround. Into the clubhouse, ready for first pitch. Marlins and Mets. opens. Three-game series opens. Henderson Alvarez on his way out to start this ball game. We start out in center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Hi, guys.
Hey, Rich, how are you? And good afternoon, everybody. Happy Labor Day to you. The Marlins with that very quick turnaround. 5 o'clock start in Atlanta. Quick 1 o'clock start here today. The travel in between. The players, they're used to these kind of things. They have to be.
I mean, it's not ideal. Obviously, you like to play a day game and then a night game at home. But, I'm sure there's some logistical reason, whether it's, the Labor Day, with the fans or whatever it is. So, it is what it is. This was something we got to battle with and deal with. And, yeah, it's not ideal, but, we'll make the most of it and hopefully come out 2 wins.
Luckily for me, it doesn't really affect me much. I'll show up to the yard just like I would for a normal 1 o'clock game. The guys who got to play every day, it might be tough, but, it's just like normally we have a 1 o'clock game after a 7 o'clock game on a Sunday, so I don't think it'll be too bad.
I mean, it's a little different, but, it's part of it. When holidays come up, long weekends come up, that sometimes there's, different game times. So just something we have to deal with and get through.
It's just one of those things you just got to grind it out. You just run on a little sleep and stick to your day game routine the next day. So, I mean, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal.
A little bit. I mean, I think we're ready to play no matter what time it is. It's kind of a tough travel day. It's not so much starting at 5, it's the 1 o'clock following the 5 o'clock. So that'll be a little tough, but I don't think it's anything that any of us haven't really done before.
I think we could have done a little better scheduling, but, hey, deal with it.
Yeah, it's a little rough getting back in really late from Atlanta last night, get here for an early day game. I think for me, it kind of took the edge off a little bit. I felt I was more focused on days like this because I didn't feel that great. So I felt I played better on days like today.
And you had to, and once you get to the park, you get going, you put the jersey on.
It's just like any other game.
It's like there's so many games in the baseball schedule. On a busy month, too, for the Marlins here with 27 to go in September. For Henderson Alvarez, boy, he's 10-6, comes off the rough start. But he's got that amazing ability to produce ground balls.
Yeah, he does. Almost 3 to 1.5. The league average 1.5 fly ball to ground ball ratio. He's almost at 3. So very impressive with that stat. You look at his earned run average here at home, 1.46. Best in the National League, so hopefully he'll continue that today and get the Marlins back on the winning track.
So a lot more ground balls. You need the good defense with Henderson Alvarez.
You're always on your toes with Henderson Alvarez if you're an infielder for sure.
All right, Alvarez and Zach Wheeler, the Marlins are trying to solve a guy who has owned the Marlins here on Labor Day. We've got the ball game coming up. Mets-Marlins, game 1 of this 3-game series on Fox Sports Florida.
in Miami. Curtis Granderson's ready. The Mets come in here at 64 and 73. The Marlins, of course, ahead of them in the standings. J.M. Lexus brings you their lineup. Juan Lagares has been playing well of late. Curtis Granderson in right. David Wright has had a tough second half. Not Lucas Duda, especially on the road. He's hit a dozen homers, 9 of them on the road post All-Star break. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. Matt Den Decker's in left. Dilson Herrera is at second base. He's just up. He's only 20. Wilmer Flores, the shortstop. Zach Wheeler, very good in this ballpark. Alvarez ready, pinch a penny. About to bring you Alvarez old-fashioned windup, which he does before every start. Alvarez rocks and delivers, and he throws a strike to Juan Lagares. And you know what? That's the first time he's ever done the windup and not thrown a fastball. That was an 88-mile-an-hour slider, it looked like. That fastball jams the heck out of Lagares, and Echeverria sweeps it across the infield to get the out.
Well, that's a great pitch. After the first pitch, you really got in on Lagares. I think as we watch Henderson Alvarez today, you want to make sure you see the ball down. That's what got him in trouble his last couple of starts. He got some balls up. He's given up 4 home runs over his last 2 starts.
Curtis Granderson now with David Wright right behind him. Granderson, one of the big acquisitions in the offseason, and big money for the Mets. The Mets doling out $60 million over 4 years. Granderson coming off an injury-filled season as a Yankee. Really has yet to get going as a Met. Solano throws him out at first.
Well, a good change up there. And you heard Jeff Conine talking to Craig Minervini about this. Certainly as an infielder, you keep yourself on your toes with Henderson Alvarez out there. We'll check out the defense with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. But McGee, Echeverria, Solano, and Garrett Jones, they'll be on their toes. Salta Lamacchia will be calling the pitches.
David Wright climbs in. Wright, you see his overall numbers, the 8 homers and 57 driven in, but hits and RBIs and all of that have been tough to come by post All-Star break for the Mets third baseman. And Alvarez throws a strike. Now couch that with Wright has been very good against Alvarez in their short matchups. In fact, you go back on July 11th, Wright, just before the All-Star break, cranked one into the upper deck. He's 9 for 19, and that's the only home run that he's got against Alvarez. 0-2 pitch coming. And a bouncer out to short. Echeverria sucks it up and gets the out. How about that? 7 pitches. The entertainer in nice form so far. Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. For your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. What a gorgeous sight in Miami on this Labor Day. Zach Wheeler, not so gorgeous as far as the Marlins are concerned. You see his season numbers are a really solid year with an ERA in the mid-3s, but against the Marlins in his career, 5 starts, his ERA is right around 1. And so the 6'4", 24-year-old out of Dallas goes to work.
Well, I tell you what, Rich, he's been doing it against other teams as well. In his last 11 starts, Zach Wheeler 6-1 with a 2.17 ERA.
So I think both teams are in for a little bit of a rough ride, and we'll see how the managers play it early in this ball game.
Hey, happy Labor Day. Yeah, this is certainly the kind of game that you manage, accepting the fact that it'll probably be a low-scoring game. So you have to do everything possible to scratch out a run or two.
Yelich with a 3-1 count. Obviously, tracking Yelich, and Mike Redmond talked about it today, the fact that his leadoff hitter gets into deep counts, a lot of 3-2 counts, has a great on-base percentage. And here he is in a 3-2 count. Wheeler coming back with a pair of fastballs for strikes.
Well, he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. That's the bottom line.
Yelich fights it off.
It's the first batter of the game, so you don't know if Wheeler's gotten in a groove. But when he's on a nice run and in a groove, he'll throw anything at any count. But I think here he'll stick with fastball.
Stays with fastball at 95, and it's fouled off.
And he's got a good one. We'll give you the scouting report. It has life. Slider and curve, and as I mentioned, anything, anytime, but just trying to settle in with the first hitter of the game. He'll probably stay with fastballs.
Yelich pulls a ground ball. That would be Lucas Duda over there. And he steps on the bag. Aside from Mr. Duda, who else is out there? First, let's start with Miami's lineup. Brought to you by Jay and Lexus. Christian Yelich, Donovan Solano. A very nice series in Atlanta, adding to his last 6 games. Giancarlo Stanton, followed by Casey McGee, who has good numbers against Wheeler. Garrett Jones, Marcelo Zuna, Jared Saltalamacchia, Danny Echeverria, and Henderson Alvarez. Solano takes a strike. Mark Wegner is calling balls and strikes. Toby Basner, Mike Winters, and Mike Malinsky are your umpires. And of course, part of this crew, Winters at second, Wegner behind the plate, were involved in the controversial play at the plate against the Cincinnati Reds. Winters was the home plate umpire. Swing and a miss. Solano goes down. All right, now the aforementioned defense for the Mets.
You know, Rich, I knew we'd get to it. And there it is with Matt Den Decker, Juan Lagares, Curtis Granderson, David Wright, Wilmer Flores, Dilson Herrera at second base, Lucas Duda, Travis d'Arnaud is the catcher. So a little different look than what the Marlins have seen up the middle for the Mets in this series.
Giancarlo Stanton, like a lot of his teammates, has not had success against Zach Wheeler. Stanton is 1 for 12, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. A high strike, and it's 1-1.
A couple of sliders or cutters up in the strike zone. First 2 pitches that Giancarlo's seen from Wheeler.
Stanton left field, deep, and gone! Solo shot, 1-0. Welcome back home, Stanton.
We talked about the sliders. He got a third one. I actually think, Rich, he got jammed on this pitch. It shows you the strength that Stanton has. It kind of stayed in, got on his hands a little. Home run number 34 and number 151.
Boy, just terrific looks from the truck on the swing. And here's McGee, and he taps one foul, third base side. Well, Stan certainly woke us up, and he woke everybody up in the Clevelander. Look at where the pitch was, Hut.
80 miles an hour. Was more of a curveball. It backed up. 22nd home run for Giancarlo at home.
So a 1-0 start.
That alone is a big milestone, because we talked about the 15 2/3 innings that Zach Wheeler has thrown against the Marlins at Marlins Park. That's the first run the Marlins have gotten off him here.
McGee takes out, and it's 1-2. It's the amazing thing about Stanton in the year that he's having. And you look at the total numbers. He's just an RBI shy of 100. He's hit 34 homers, 28 doubles, and he's done a lot of damage at home. In fact, he's been better in what is an extreme pitcher's park than he has on the road.
I think that's something that certainly he has to file away in his future. Just saying.
Now at 99. One-two pitch. McGee sprays a ground ball out to Dilson Herrera, who gets the out at first. Marlins are back home. Giancarlo Stanton is back home. And he goes out into the Clevelander. And the Fish have a 1-0 lead. City, and it's brought to you by H.H. Gray. Downtown Miami on Labor Day. Inside, Henderson Alvarez and Big G. That's the combination so far. Stanton homering and Alvarez dealing. Lucas Duda, Travis d'Arnaud, Matt Den Decker.
I'm watching the velocity of Henderson Alvarez. He hasn't been 95, 96. He's thrown a lot of changeups, a lot of high 80s pitches. and he's got a lot of ground balls. How about 4 of them?
The movement on that pitch indicated changeup. It dove and it moved away. This is game 1 of a 3-game set tomorrow night. Half-price tickets on the Lexus Legends level, baseline reserve, bullpen reserve, home run, porch tickets. Miami Herald half-price Tuesday. That means pick up Tuesday's edition of the Miami Herald. 4 outs, all of them ground ball outs. And here is Travis d'Arnaud. Good power year for d'Arnaud. 12 homers. And as a rookie catcher, that's significant for the Mets.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. When you and I were looking at the notes, and for d'Arnaud, the 12 home runs, the most ever by a Met rookie catcher. Of course, you think about most recently past catchers in Mets history, they came from other organizations. Mike Piazza. Go back a little further, Gary Carter. So they were rookies with other organizations.
d'Arnaud, certainly a guy that the Mets are high on, and a lot of teams have been high on. He's a 25-year-old out of Long Beach, involved in some major trades. Originally a Phillies draft pick, and he dives out of the way of a fastball. It's 3-2. Count stays at 3-2. You were talking about velocity and where Alvarez is living right now. He usually lives in the mid-90s as far as the high end.
Yeah, amazingly enough, when he's in the range he's in, his ball moves really well.
Checkers bringing you Fox Tracks, that one at 91 with movement. So to dial it down, his changeups are coming in right now at 87. That a 92-mile-an-hour fastball that ends up in the glove of Giancarlo Stanton.
Well, we've said it before. I know we talked about it out on the West Coast with Stanton in the lineup every day. He hasn't missed a game. With all the home runs, 34, leading the league in that department, and many others. It's a treat for fans here in Miami to come out and see him day in and day out.
And I think of all the numbers that he's compiled, the homers, the RBIs, OPS, which he's leading in, the one that he's very, very proud of is the one that you mentioned last, and that is games played. The fact that he's in the lineup every game, and that's not easy to do.
And I think at times his swing takes a toll on him, and his swing takes a hit, and maybe he goes into some little down spells because he's out there.
Here's the 1-1.
But over the years, that's the case with many players who are in the lineup every day.
Well, I mean, if you're going to talk most valuable player, the valuable part for a guy like Stanton, he's so valuable that Mike Redmond has had him in there every day, and Stanton wants to be in there every day because he knows how valuable he is to the lineup, to the offense.
I guarantee there are times that he'd like to sit out. I guarantee there are times Mike Redmond would like to have him out of the lineup. But yeah, the value is there.
There's the changeup, 86, and it dove and died in the glove of Saltalamacchia. Den Decker strikes out, and Henderson Alvarez has retired all 6 that he has faced. Miami on a Stanton homer has a 1-0 lead. That would be a fan photo right there.
Yeah, I like that. Capture that one.
Yeah, and hashtag it FL fan photo, and it could be the AT&T fan photo. I can't believe the Blue Ribbon panel, every time we try to contact them, all we get is an out-of-office reply. So the Blue Ribbon panel is still on vacation.
It's a Labor Day weekend thing.
And they leave it up to the crack staff, and so there's no telling what will show up on the AT&T fan photo. Garrett Jones shows up to lead off the second, and he takes out Marcell Ozuna and Jared Saltalamacchia right behind him against Zach Wheeler. A Stanton home run, not a mammoth shot. And the exit speed off of Stanton's bat was in the low 90s, which you rarely see.
Yeah, he's usually well over 100. But we saw and we heard when he made contact, it didn't sound solid, that he got jammed. And by the way, no out-of-office replies from us.
No, we're in the office and happy to be here. Jones swings and misses. This is a bat, and you talked about, and this has been a theme throughout the last 10 days on that road trip, is somebody in the lineup or maybe a collective group starting to get hot. If the Marlins are really going to make a push and get on a run, you look down in the lineup, you look at McGee and Jones and Ozuna and Saltalamacchia and Echeverria. Mike Redmond needs depth in the lineup. He needs some production from the bottom of the lineup. Now, that being said, this is not an easy day to do that. You're facing, if you're the Marlins, a guy that's had your number for 5 starts, and that's Zach Wheeler.
Well, and not to point just at one individual, but you look at a guy like Garrett Jones, because he's left-handed, because he's done it in the past. He's had streaks. We saw him with Pittsburgh. We saw streaks this season where he's put together some hits with some power.
Three-two is out, and Jones walks. And Wheeler walks the leadoff man. That'll bring up Marcell Ozuna. Legally speaking, on Labor Day, I know it's a holiday, but still, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Well, that's kind of in honor of the labor movement, which was what started honoring Labor Day, first Monday in September.
Some thought this was a second Mother's Day. Ozuna pulls it foul. Though I did not hear that reply. There was a nice feature on Marlins Live about the origins of Labor Day.
The only thing I'm not sure of, I'm not sure, maybe our crack staff has this answer, if there's an exact date or what period of time did we begin honoring Labor Day. I think it goes back to the 1800s.
Late 1800s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Jeff Conine thought Marvin Miller was actually involved in the Labor Day, but not. Craig, you've got more?
Well, I was looking up this subject because none of us knew the exact background of it, and I think it was Oregon in 1887. That was the first state. Oregon made it in 1887, the first holiday.
There's a rocket, but foul
in the state, and then I think it was 1894 it officially became a federal holiday. By that time, I think 30 states were recognizing Labor Day, and so it was a federal holiday just before the turn of the century, 1894.
And I got one for you, Craig. They honor Labor Day in Canada, but they spell it L-A-B-O-U-R.
That's right. And I think it's May 1st. In some other spots, it's May 1st.
Ozuna got into that one, left center field. It's going to the gap. It's in the triangle, and Jones is rolling around third. On his way home. Ozuna with a triple. It's 2-0. Marcell Ozuna, his 4th triple, his 73rd run driven in, and a Marlins outfield that is the best in baseball in OPS has been shining in this one. Stanton a homer, and Ozuna an RBI triple.
Well, you love to get those easy coast into third base stand-up triples, and this is exactly what Ozuna did. Plenty of time for Garrett Jones to score. And you're right. Once it got into that triangle, Jones scored easily. Ozuna even had time to adjust his helmet and look over his shoulder.
Now Saltalamacchia with the infield back, and Wheeler gets a strike.
Slider. So both big hits have been on breaking balls. Ozuna stays on it. All right, he knows he's got the triple. I'll adjust the helmet, look over my shoulder, and coast into third.
When I was a small child, I got a chance to watch Willie Mays play in San Francisco. And on a ball like that, he wouldn't adjust the helmet. He'd usually knock it off.
Yeah, the hat would fly off.
Yeah, he would run out from under it.
Pete Rose, same thing.
So Saltalamacchia takes a breaking ball. Now, all that being said, Marlins are near the bottom of the order, and they've got a run sitting at third base, and there's nobody out. So contact here against Wheeler for Saltalamacchia, and then Echeverria.
And this is key, because the infield's back. If Saltalamacchia doesn't get the run in, I would imagine they'll come in with Echeverria, the hitter.
Wheeler, the fastball that misses outside.
And Ozuna, the runner at third, can get a huge lead because David Wright is way off the line. They don't have a full-blown shift, and he's way off the line.
Swing and a miss, and Saltalamacchia strikes out. Ozuna's still at third, and we'll see what the Mets do with their infield. You've got Echeverria, then you've got Alvarez.
Well, here they come. Terry Collins, we talk about it all the time, Rich. You and I agree, does a terrific job with the last couple of years, hasn't had a whole lot to work with. And so he's managed a lot. He managed 11 years in the minor league, so he's seen just about every situation, and yes, he brings the infield in here.
Echeverria fouls it back. For Echeverria, his matchups against Wheeler, 2 for 14 with 3 strikeouts.
In this day and age of statistics, there are all kinds of them. I don't know if there is an add-on statistic. This is where the Marlins at times lack, have an opportunity against a tough pitcher to add on another run. So this is important to get Ozuna in from third.
Well, there's a strike, and it's 0-2.
The key at bat was the at bat of Saltalamacchia with the infield back. There's a record of Terry Collins, 65-year-old.
And I agree with you. He's had to do more with less in New York, and he's done a nice job. The Mets, even though their record hasn't been great, they've always been a tough opponent. They were 74-88 last year with a team that hit just .237. Edge putting up a fight right now. And you know, Wheeler right now is in strikeout mode, full strikeout mode. He's punched out 2. He would like to get this out without Echeverria putting it in play.
Well, that's why you look at the at-bats. The at-bat of Salty's a little easier to get that run in because the infield back. This is a little more difficult with the infield in and less than 2 out. And a good battle by Edge. There's a fastball. We want it up high. And it was up high.
And it's important that when d'Arnaud does that, he does it late so that someone in the dugout or on the bases doesn't tip Echeverria off. Breaking ball, ball in the dirt. Did he go? Yes. Echeverria's out. Home plate umpire Mark Wagner called it. And so now it's up to Alvarez to get the run home.
Well, and you shouldn't have to leave it up to your pitcher to get the run in. So now d'Arnaud sets away. It's going to be the breaking ball. The slider's in the dirt. And home plate umpire Mark Wegner didn't ask for help. He made the call himself.
Well, Alvarez can swing it. He's driven in 2. And you can see Mike Redmond happy to get a run, but frustrated that Ozuna's still at third, and Alvarez fouls it off.
Well, the add-on runs take a little pressure off the pitcher, and they're just nicer to get.
Alvarez a good swing, but he fouls it back, and it's 1-2, and now he's up against it. He's 1-2 against, as Tommy pointed out, one of the hotter pitchers in baseball, and a guy that has pitched so well against the Fish. 3-1 in his last 5 starts with an ERA of under 3. Wheeler's 1-2.
You know what, though, Rich? He's a young pitcher. Zach Wheeler, he's 24. He's also, as we've talked about with a lot of the Marlins pitchers, at a point in his career, he's over 160 innings, most innings he's ever pitched at the major league level.
And he got him. A little cut fastball or slider, and Alvarez goes down. Miami gets another run. Marcell Ozuna with an RBI triple. Labor Day and the origins of Labor Day. What's it all mean? How about our Geico quote of the day? Let's go to Ed Lucas, smartest guy in the clubhouse.
Yes, it's a ancient Byzantine holiday. I have no idea. I thought isn't it just like a workers' day, like to celebrate like 9 to 5, give everybody a day off. Is that it? That's what it would have said, but I figured it was something else. Yeah.
I'd like to see Ed Lucas on like Jeopardy, a game show. I think he'd do quite well. You can see the reasoning there as the Dartmouth education in motion. That ball to left is hit well and deep, and Dilson Herrera has gone out into the Clevelander, into the pool. First major league home run for the 20-year-old Dilson Herrera, and it's 2-1 Miami.
Well, he's getting an opportunity. Daniel Murphy on the disabled list, so the youngster shows some power, and power he has, and that's what is frustrating about not adding on. And just like that, it's a one-run game.
Watch where this lands, in the pool. Guy goes in. Hopefully he had his cell phone. Got the ball, but also got wet. There he is.
Well, look, the pool girl gave him a towel, so he was able to dry off.
Over the head of Jones. And Wilmer Flores dumps a hit in. Henderson Alvarez was untouched through the first 2 innings. He retired all 6 that he faced. But Herrera is homer. Flores has singled. And now Wheeler in a spot where he can bunt. With McGee creeping in at third. Remember, Alvarez very good defensively.
Wheeler's done a nice job in this department. Has 11 sacrifice bunts this year.
Terrific bunt. Alvarez is going to go there. Did he get him? No! And he gambled and lost. Everybody's safe.
I am sure he did that on his own. I'm pretty sure I heard first base being yelled, probably by Salty. And sometimes when you have that ability, you take a few chances. It was a lot closer because Flores didn't slide. And that was very close at second base. But still early in the game with the top of the order coming up, not the right choice.
So I would expect a sacrifice fielder's choice.
Yes.
And now you got Juan Lagares, Curtis Granderson, and David Wright up. Lagares takes outside. Juan Lagares is having an incredible defensive season. In the leadoff spot, a .313 on base, his slugging at .382, 20 doubles, 4 homers. Infield looking for a ground ball. They get one, slowly hit. Echeverria out there. Solano's turn, safe there. Bang bang play at first. And a pair of bang-bang plays have gone the Mets' way here in the inning. Alvarez now has to face Granderson, first and third, 1 out.
Well, you talked about it. You said it initially, slowly hit. It wasn't really a double play ball, but again, very close. A couple of bang-bang plays. Lagares runs pretty well. And he just does get there.
Now Granderson. And again, Alvarez trying to coax a ground ball.
Another tough guy to double up, though. And the Mets in the same position the Marlins were in, man, at third, less than 2 out.
Marlins were in the position, a runner at third and nobody out, and didn't get him home. That was after the RBI triple by Marcell Ozuna. So Alvarez in a spot here where he's trying to keep the lead.
And it has been a struggle for Curtis Granderson. The overall batting average, .214 coming in the game, but a .164 average since July 13th. That was the last time the Mets played the Marlins.
This has not been a good spot for him, and that is runners in scoring position. 116 at bats with runners in scoring position, and look at that, a 181 average. Floyd's the runner at third. Lagares dancing away from first. And Alvarez has fallen behind 3-0. Take a look at Fox Tracks. That one at the knees.
Frustrating for a pitcher such as Alvarez, because that's where he has to pitch. He has to stay down in the strike zone, and it's tough when he doesn't get that call.
.3-0 a strike. And of course, Granderson put up big power numbers as a Yankee. 2012, 43 homers, 41 in 2011. Just 7 last year, 16 this year. And Alvarez comes back, counts full. We'll see if Terry Collins, who is an aggressive manager, when he has a chance to run, he will.
And he has decent speed at first base in Lagares. So, yeah, I would say he'll be on the move. Those numbers also tell us a little something about new Yankee Stadium. All you have to do is check Robinson Cano's numbers as well.
And Citi Field.
Yeah.
Lagares not running, and a check swing. And it stays 3-2.
Yeah, check Citi Field and Safeco, even though the ball's been flying out of Safeco the last few days.
That's because the Nationals were in town, and they were hot. Well, Lagares wasn't running on a full count, 1 out. He does not have a big lead. He has swiped 6 bags this year. Not running again. And no swing. Bags loaded. David Wright up.
You know, there are times when I see those that I'd love to see Echeverria's at the same time, which was called a strike, and that one wasn't. I know it's a difficult call. To me, neither one of them looked like they swung. But if you're going to call one, you've got to call the other.
Here's Wright, who bounced to short back in the first. Of all the Mets, he has the best individual numbers against Alvarez. And he smokes one into center field, base hit. Ozuna got a good break. Round third, coming home, Lagares. The throw ends up in the dugout. Wow. Unbelievable. And that's going to cost another run. Ozuna thought about home, then thought about third, and then airmailed the ball into the dugout. And 3-run score.
Well, there are a couple of things that we got to think about here. First of all, David Wright hits the Marlins all the time. Ozuna got caught in between and then didn't have any grip. Do I throw home or do I throw to third and it ended up in the dugout? The other thing, we've watched Alvarez so far this entire game not touch 93 or 4. So there might be something wrong with him because of the velocity that we've seen in the way he's pitched.
Wright gets 2 RBIs, and then Granderson scores on the throwing error by Ozuna. Wright ends up at second base, and Mike Redmond is at the mound quizzing Henderson Alvarez. And Alvarez is coming out of the game. Henderson Alvarez is leaving the baseball game.
We saw that early in the game. We talked about it in the first inning. We didn't see the fastball that we usually see from Alvarez.
And he's not happy. And so Alvarez storms into the clubhouse. Brad Hand is probably the guy the Marlins are going to see if they can get the door open in the bullpen. Boy, everything going wrong right now for Miami this half inning. From the failed attempt to get the runner at second on the bunt, to the throw by Ozuna, and now an injury, a Kendall Toyota called to the pen. With Alvarez looking sharp his first 2 innings, albeit with low velocity, and Zach Wheeler dealing for the Mets, the Marlins got 2 runs, and all of a sudden it's dissolved into a 4-2 game, and Alvarez is out of the game. Ozuna's still trying to figure out how he threw the ball in the Marlins dugout, which cost another run. Here's the play again.
Out over the plate, David Wright right back up the middle with 2 RBIs, and then watch Ozuna. He's thinking about a play at the plate, and sometimes I don't know. I can't describe that. I don't know if he obviously he didn't have a very good grip on it, but was he thinking about throwing to third or throwing to home? And then in the meantime, just after that throw, Mike Kozak and Mike Redmond came out to the mound. They saw the velocity. They were able to see that. And so sometimes you wonder if maybe he just couldn't get loose.
He did not want anything to do with Mike Redmond or Mike Kozak. He was trying to stay as far away from the manager and the trainer as he could.
So that tells us he's not upset because there might be an injury. He's upset because he was taken out of the game.
But if you're Mike Redmond, here you've got an all-star pitcher, and if there's something wrong, or if you think that something's wrong, you have to err on the side of caution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So needless to say, an interesting few minutes.
Well, no kidding. It's turned this game on its ear.
And just like that, the Mets have taken a 4-2 lead.
So the focus on Brad Hand now, and this can't be an easy task for Hand, who hasn't had a whole lot of work of late, and this could be a bullpen game for the Fish. Lucas Duda takes a strike. Mike Kozak, watch as he arrives, and he's pointing at the side of Alvarez.
Right there, right in the side. Is that what's bothering you? Because Juan Rodriguez of the Sun Sentinel tweeting that Henderson Alvarez had his back wrapped. Just another bad play. You can't just let David Wright waltz into third base either. but tweeting that he had his back wrapped prior to the game. You'll see pitchers do that often, though. I mean, it's nothing too unusual.
But you're right. I mean, Brad Hand comes in. He's got Wright at second. Doesn't pay any attention to him. And Wright easily takes third base. And now Duda's up with the infield in and one out.
You got a team that's beaten you 5 games in a row. You got a team who's behind you in the standings. You ought to come out and try to play like you want to beat them. Bottom line. And the last few times the Marlins have played the Mets, they haven't played that way.
Hand gets a strike, and it's 2-2.
The one positive with Brad Hand, if it doesn't become a bullpen game, he can give Mike Redmond 3, 4, 5 innings, depending on how the game goes.
His last appearance in Colorado, he went 4 1/3, 7 hits and 4 runs. And so about a week from his last appearance. Duda swings at an inside pitch and yanks it foul. Full count, 1 out. 4 runs across in a bizarre sequence that has changed the face of this game. 3-2 coming. Got him. Big strikeout for Hand. And now he'll try to get Travis d'Arnaud.
Well, you talked and touched on it a little bit, Rich, the struggles of Lucas Duda recently. 2 for his last 25 now with that strikeout. A good pitch by Hand.
d'Arnaud flying to right back in the second. One-0 pitch. Wow, Saltalamacchia had to wear that one, and did a nice job to get a piece of it.
That's just a ball that he knows he's not going to catch. He just wants to keep it in front of him. Look how far in front of the plate that ball bounces.
Two 2-0 to d'Arnaud. Left-handed hitting Matt Den Decker is on deck. Well, if indeed the Marlins suspected that something was up with Alvarez, you would think Brad Hand was aware of that, or that the Marlins made him aware of that.
Might have been given a heads up.
Bouncer, and Hand has it. And with 2 outs, he'll flip to first. Nicely done. Brad Hand comes in and cleans up what was a messy inning. Marlins lost their lead and their starter. It's 4-2 Mets. frustrated in the dugout right now. Wednesday, it's Marlins and Mets, and it's a 7:10 start, and the kids eat free on Wednesday night. Every child 12 and under with a ticket will get a coupon for a free KM Beef Frank, a bag of Frito-Lay chips, and a small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Marlins.com, the place to go for tickets. Well, the complexion of this game has changed so dramatically now that the Marlins go against Zach Wheeler. The good news for the Fish, they did get 2 runs against a guy that had been darn near perfect against him here. Giancarlo Stanton homered, Marcell Ozuna an RBI triple. Top of the order, Yelich leads it off, and he takes a strike. The homer and the triple, the only 2 hits first time through for Miami. And first time through, Wheeler struck out 4. Palmetto 57 Nissan brings you the leaderboard. We check in on hits in a month for Christian Yelich. 70 hits in July and August combined. Having a real nice second half.
I think one of the interesting things, and you always have those matchups, not a lot against the Mets. Christian Yelich 5 for 34 this year now against the Mets, about a 150 average, and 1 for 11 against Wheeler. Good take there.
Solano and then Stanton coming up here in the bottom of the 3rd. And Yelich steps out. Busy day in baseball. Although there are some teams, ironically, that have Labor Day off.
That just doesn't sound right.
It's not right. The Nationals are in Los Angeles. They open up a series with the Dodgers tonight. The Braves are trailing the Phillies 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 3rd. That's a Teheran Hamels matchup. The Phillies are up there. Pittsburgh and St. Louis getting ready to play in St. Louis. How about that Cleveland-Kansas City game last night?
Yeah.
In which Cleveland got a couple runs in the 10th and started raining, and they've suspended the game. And I've been telling you the last few days, don't sleep on Cleveland, because the Indians are creeping up in the wild card and in the Central. So Cleveland leads that game 4-2 over Kansas City in the bottom of the 10th. They will resume that game in 3 weeks when Kansas City is in Cleveland.
And they have a pretty good matchup tonight. Cleveland does, in Cleveland against Detroit. David Price against Corey Kluber. Kluber 13-8 with a 2.52 ERA. A little bit later on today.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss by Yelich. And so Wheeler has punched out 5. And if you were with us yesterday, you saw Alex Wood strike out 12. A career high. Here's some investigative reporting we need to do. Because when Kansas City shows up in Cleveland in 3 weeks to resume that game, which was suspended, the rosters could look completely different with all the players that both teams will add. You never know, there might be a trade or something that happens, a free agent signing. So the game is picked up from that point. Guys that have played in the game are obviously unable to play, but what about the guys that weren't there?
It's a good point. I think they're eligible.
I think they are too. It doesn't seem right.
No.
One and 2 to Solano. He struck out in the first. Giants and the Rockies are resuming a suspended game. From May 22nd. They're going to resume that game today. It's 2-2 in the bottom of the sixth in Colorado.
Now, you talked about all the strikeouts. The Marlins right now neck and neck with the Cubs for the most strikeouts in the National League. I guess the Cubs have soared on that list with the additions of some young free swingers. Javier Baez, Jorge Soler.
And hit him. Solano hit, and he's aboard. Here comes Stanton. And Solano holding that left hand as he walks down to first. The Marlins now, there will be more roster moves made. But Carter Capps and his 100-mile-an-hour fastball are back. Dan Jennings, of course, off the concussion list. And it's good to see that he's back as well.
Yeah, Dan Jennings went down, had some really nice outings on rehab assignment. So throwing the ball well, and you're right, just good to see him back.
Giancarlo Stanton is back. And it's Wheeler against Stanton. A breaking ball. Stanton hit out for a solo shot in the first, and Wheeler backs him off the plate with a fastball. This had all the earmarks of a tight pitcher's duel with Zach Wheeler and Henderson Alvarez. Alvarez hurt and out of the game. The Mets getting 4 runs in the third, and it's 4-2 right now. Another fastball in.
Here's a look at that breaking ball that backed up, jammed him a little bit. For Stanton, number 34, and his 12th home run. 12 of the 34 have come in the first inning.
2-0 pitch, center field. That's deep. Lagares has room and makes the catch. And Stanton just missed it. Frustrated, he threw his fist out as he got close to first base.
He's hit enough balls in this ballpark. He initially probably knew breaking ball out over the plate. He got a good pitch to hit. I think he knew he didn't quite get it all. But I talked about the 12th first inning home run. 11 of those 12 have been hit here at Marlins Park.
And here's McGee. Well, McGee had the best numbers of any Marlin against Wheeler. That coming into the ball game. Solano at first. And Wheeler's fastball misses in. McGee, of course, had that terrific first half, leading the National League with runners in scoring position. Had 11 hits on the road trip. Shoots one up the middle into center field, base hit. Solano stops there. And McGee has a 2-out single, and that brings up Garrett Jones.
Case McGee did show signs, and we talked about it on the road trip, of much better swings. And had a good one there.
See, the mound kind of slowed it up and almost allowed Herrera to get it on a dive. Jones walked back in the second. Fastball misses away. Labor Day in Miami. Marlins and Mets opening a 3-game series. The Marlins have lost their starter. No word yet from the Marlins clubhouse as to the condition of Henderson Alvarez. Mike Kozak, Marlins assistant trainer, was looking at and pointing to his side and asking Alvarez if he was okay. Alvarez obviously was trying to stay away from A, Kozak, and B, Mike Redmond, because he wanted to stay in the ball game. Mike Redmond decided after that brief conversation to lift the right-hander. One. Jones takes down. Two and one. Ozuna, who had the RBI triple, is on deck. 3 hits apiece for the Mets and the Marlins.
Now, Wheeler's had to throw a lot of pitches here to get just 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Breaking ball gets a strike, 2-2.
So 70 pitches already for Zach Wheeler.
Two. It's up. And so he tried another breaking ball. Full count. Everybody gets a head start. Solano at second and McGee at first. Infield, not a real big shift for Jones. Fastball, hooked the ground ball. It's kicked and picked and safe. Bags are loaded. Dilson Herrera, the Mets second baseman, even after he kicked it, still had a chance.
I think if initially he doesn't get it and he's deep, it might be a base hit, but he had a couple of chances and still couldn't find it to make the out. So the inning stays alive, bases loaded now.
And it brings up Ozuna, who blasted one in the gap in left center for a triple. Dan Warthen, pitching coach for the Mets, is out. By the way, in Major League news today, a former Marlin coach was fired as the manager of the Houston Astros. Bo Porter was let go today. Tom Lawless was named interim manager through the remainder of this season. Porter has been the Astros manager since the start of last year. Here's Ozuna. It was a breaking ball that Ozuna hit into left center field. It was a breaking ball that Stanton hit into the Clevelander. You saw the workload for Wheeler. It grows even more now in this inning. Ball 1 to Ozuna.
If you're Marcell Ozuna, you have to really concentrate on toning down to try to make up for that poor throw, because you know what he'd love to do.
There's a fastball for a strike. Bases filled with Marlins. Solano McGee, and Jones. '29th pitch of the inning for Zach Wheeler. And d'Arnaud just saved a run right there. Word from the Miami clubhouse, left oblique strain day to day for Henderson Alvarez. And the Mets aren't fooling around. Carlos Torres is up in New York's bullpen. Big moment here. Miami down 2 early. Bags loaded, 2 outs. And Ozuna swung at ball 3, which bore in on his hands. Look at how far it was off on Fox Tracks.
That's one of those, you see fastball, you're probably looking fastball, you get it started, and then the ball tails in the way that one did, and you just can't stop.
And he got him. Ozuna strikes out. So Wheeler escapes. Miami leaves him loaded. Only 3 innings in the books. It's 4-2 Mets. Check in with Craig Minervino.
Rich, thank you very much. I'm with Rob Koppelman, Marlins fan. He won the fantasy auction 3 straight years in a row.
Oh my God.
Right? You went to New York twice, Denver, but you've been a fan since '96. Never been to a Marlins game at home till today.
No, I enjoy Rich and Tommy too much. But it's great being here. It's a wonderful stadium, and thank God they got me such wonderful seats.
Yeah, you got to pay attention over here. Rob, you had 2 trips in New York. I got a chance to talk to you on the Fox fantasy auction winner. And then Allison saw you in Colorado this year. How'd you like it there?
Oh, I really enjoyed Coors Field, and I never really appreciated what a nice stadium it is. Very comfortable to watch a game.
You're the kind of fan, I mean, look, he keeps scoring a game. See that shot foul. So you're a big fan. You've been a fan, even when you came down here, you were a Marlins. Why did you never, not even the old stadium, you never came to a game?
I can't tell you why, because I always love going to games. I spend my summers in New York, and I go to games just because it's on the subway. Sure. But it's very easy getting here. I'm surprised how easy. So I'll come some more.
All right, well, that's good. And we're going to show you kind of big fan. This is a jersey you won't see very often. He got a new Marlins jersey today. We'll turn around the other way and see the name here. What do you got on there? Why'd you put that there?
Well, this is for Edgar Renteria for winning the World Series for the Marlins in '97. And I remember pounding the floor of my condominium when he got that hit.
All right, and that was, of course, the Florida Marlins then, but you put his number on the new Miami jersey. Good to see you, Rob. Are you going to go for the 4th straight Fox Sports Florida next year road trip?
I met a couple of people in Denver who said they've been trying for years. They've been getting outbid, but I told them they have to deal with me.
It goes through him, guys. Back to you.
I like that attitude. Jones a flip, and there's no way they're going to get Den Decker. And Matt Den Decker legs out an infield hit to open up the 4th.
This is one of those no man's land when you have speed, as Den Decker does. It's really tough to make a 3-1 put out on this play, and Jones a little too far off the bag to get back to first base.
You got Den Decker now at first. He's got 4 stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times. And the Marlins are hopeful that Brad Hand can settle into this game and get outs. Dilson Herrera, who I think's done everybody, maybe even himself, with his first major league homer against Alvarez. He drove it into the pool of the Clevelander back in the 3rd.
Another youngster out of Colombia.
Watch the swing and watch where it lands.
Yeah, Herrera actually signed by the Pirates, but born in Cartagena, Colombia.
So he will add to that small list of Colombians that are in the big leagues. Jonathan Solano, followed Donovan Solano.
And as Donovan told us, he has played against Dilson Herrera.
Bouncer to 3rd, McGee. Solano, nice turn. And the Marlins get a double play. Let's hope Solano's okay. It was a tough slide at 2nd. And Solano limping as he comes away from the bag. He says he's okay.
Tell you what, he's had a tough couple of innings. Got hit on the hand, and then Den Decker, because you have speed, you're always able to get to that second baseman or shortstop a little quicker. And Den Decker came in, got him a little bit, clipped him on the lower half, but Donovan appears to be okay.
Here's the slide. So Hand gets a double play. Here's Wilmer Flores. Flores single back in the 3rd. Marlins and Mets go from daytime to nighttime tomorrow night. Jonathan Neese and Brad Penny. And the series concludes Tom Kohler, Jacob deGrom on Wednesday.
So the Marlins get the left-hander, Jonathan Neese, tomorrow night.
Marlins have an off day on Thursday, and then the Braves are in. Of course, in question will be the status of Henderson Alvarez for the weekend series against Atlanta.
Yeah, he would have been scheduled for one of the weekend games.
Probably Sunday you'd have Jared Cozart, Nathan Eovaldi, and then Alvarez if the rotation held. Center field, Ozuna is there. And he makes the catch. Nice inning by Brad Hand. Marlins down a couple to the Mets. By MCCI Medical Group. Call us to schedule a visit to your nearest MCCI center. MCCI Medical Group, keeping you healthy. How about your South Florida Chevy dealers? Labor Day in Miami started out on an up note. A Giancarlo Stanton home run, a Marcell Ozuna RBI triple. And Henderson Alvarez then suffered a strain to his left oblique. That was in the midst of a 4-run inning for the Mets, and Zach Wheeler found himself, instead of down 2-0, up 4-2. And he gets the bottom third of the order here. Saltalamacchia, Echeverria, and Brad Hand.
Well, at this point, too, I'm sure Zach Wheeler and Terry Collins, his managers, just hoping to get 5 innings.
Big moment for Wheeler in the second after Ozuna's triple with nobody out, knocked in a run. He struck out Saltalamacchia with the infield back, and the Marlins just needed contact, couldn't get it. Infield came in, he struck out Echeverria, and with 2 outs he struck out Alvarez, and Miami left that run at third. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready tomorrow. Email, Twitter, Tuesday. Jonathan Neese, Brad Penny. Count 2-2. Cole Hamels is dealing in Atlanta 4 no-hit innings. He's walked 4, but he's struck out 4, and he hasn't given up a hit to the Braves. Just a 1-0 lead for the Phils.
You know, Tehran not pitching badly. He's given up just 1 run, a couple hits.
Pittsburgh on top of St. Louis in St. Louis early. That game's in the second. Of course, for the Marlins in the wild card, they've fallen down a few rungs with a 3-6 road trip. 6.5 back. San Francisco has the top spot of the wild card race. Milwaukee has the second spot. Actually, Milwaukee and St. Louis. They are dead tied. So one is a division leader. The other is a wild card spot right now. Atlanta's a game and a half back. And Saltalamacchia walks. So a nice start to the fourth. Here's the wild card. And you can see Milwaukee and St. Louis identical records. Atlanta game and a half back in Pittsburgh with a chance to take a bite out of St. Louis. A 2-0 lead early in that game.
And of course the Marlins have Atlanta this weekend and then travel for a 4-game series in Milwaukee.
Yeah, the road ahead as the calendar is turned from August to September is filled with first place teams. 4 games in Milwaukee against the division leading Brewers. And then 8 games total, 4 here and 4 in DC against the first place Nationals. And Chavarria bounced to short out there. The turn is not always out. Wasn't sure it was in time.
Perry Hill looking into the dugout saying, "They take a look at this one, fellas."
And I think that one may get a review.
Even though Etch isn't hanging around first base.
Well, I think the foot's on it before backup glove.
Well, it's pretty much like the one we saw, was it yesterday, that was not overturned because there was not enough evidence?
Well, the Marlins will not challenge it. Here's Brad Hand up. Yeah, yesterday that play in Atlanta, I mean, we looked at it and the original call has so much weight. You have to have decisive evidence to overturn it. And maybe the Marlins felt on that play right there wasn't enough evidence. So the Mets get 2, 1-2 to Hand. And he swings and misses. And the leadoff walk goes up in smoke. For Miami. Next edition Inside the Marlins, behind the scenes of the now famous procedure known as Tommy John surgery. Interviews with Marlin pitchers Jose Fernandez, Nathan Eovaldi, as well as a one-on-one with Dr. James Andrews, the foremost practitioner of the surgery. Inside the Marlins, Armed and Dangerous, airs on Sunday after Marlins Live. in Miami on this Labor Day. Brad Hand facing Zach Wheeler. If you've just joined us and you're wondering what happened to Henderson Alvarez, an oblique strain on the left side. Alvarez left the ball game just as the Mets had pushed across 4 runs. That was in the third. Hand got the last 2 outs of the third, pitched through the fourth, gets Wheeler, and then the top of the order here. And the count 2-1.
We're talking about the series next week in Milwaukee. I think it happened yesterday. They bolstered their bullpen. Milwaukee did, acquiring Jonathan Broxton from the Reds.
Broxton has some sizable money next year that's guaranteed, so the Brewers took on payroll to get him. And it has to be odd for Walt Jocketty and the Reds to give up a guy like Broxton at the start of September. They're so used to being in the race and trying to catch or win the division against a rival like Milwaukee. Hand gets the strikeout. Here is Juan Lagares. Lagares an 0 for 2. Granderson next. Little flare to center, and it's going to fall for a hit. And Lagares a 1-out single. Were you surprised by the Astros letting go of Bo Porter?
Well, it tells me that there were problems and there was friction between Bo Porter and the general manager, Jeff Luhnow. Mainly because you're certainly not expecting Bo Porter and the Astros to win and to play 500 with the young group they have. So I think there were some conflicts between those two. As they say, differences in philosophies. And the way around that, they just usually say we're going to move in another direction.
Sometimes I imagine a general manager or a president of a sports team, doesn't have to be baseball, sitting in a restaurant and the waiter comes over to get the order and says, would you like to try the veal? He said, no, I think we're going to move in another direction.
Well, then, would you like the table over by the window?
We've had a change of philosophy here.
Well, we're coming out with the new menu next week.
And we're moving forward, though. We're going to turn the page. No swing. That's Granderson. And the count now 2-1. Crowd didn't like it.
See, that's more of a swing than.
Mike Malinsky, the third base umpire. Runner goes, big jump, pitch down low, no chance for Saltalamacchia. That's the second stolen base that Brad Hand has given up. And so Lagares steals his 7th. Granderson a swing and a miss. Full count. I think this game and just the 4 innings is a good snapshot of how Terry Collins manages. (3-2). A swing and a miss. Because you look up and down the Mets lineup, they don't have lofty averages or on-base percentages or slugging percentages. But here they have 4 runs. Tomorrow's tilt. We'll get back to Terry Collins after we remind you who's pitching tomorrow. Jonathan Neese, ladies and gentlemen, and Brad Penny. And it's brought to you by Checkers.
Well, Brad Penny certainly had, over the years, plenty of matchups against the Mets. Yeah, I think in the case of Terry Collins, he just figures, you know what, might as well roll the dice a little bit, see what we can create offensively.
And I think both the Marlins and Mets have been talked about in 2015 as having the potential to be really good. You look at the Mets' young pitching staff. You look at the Marlins' young pitching staff. And they both have their aces coming back. Matt Harvey's back for the Mets. Jose Fernandez back for the Fish. Jones flips, and Hand gets to the bag and gets the out. Marlins down a couple. Christian Yelich due up as the Fish try to fight back at the Mets. With us in Atlanta. Hi, Raul.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Very good. How'd you like Atlanta? A little different role for you. You and Preston down on the field and all that.
Oh, for sure. And let me tell you, I have a lot of respect now for what Craig and Conine and Pavano and Preston do. It seems easy from up here as I watch them on the monitor, but it's definitely a lot harder than I thought. And thanks to Frank Ford, who produces the show, and also to Preston Wilson, who was a great partner and gave me some nice tips.
Well, we enjoyed having you, and we hope we have you again.
Definitely, anytime. Thanks, guys.
All right, good job, Raul.
Thanks, Tommy. Bueno, los Marlins.
Christian Yelich, Donovan Solano, Giancarlo Stanton, top of the order for the Fish. Now, the odd thing here is that when Zach Wheeler was wobbling in the third, the Mets had their bullpen active. Here he is at 92 pitches. And he's thinking just get through the 5th inning with a 2-run lead.
Well, that's right. And one thing, Christian Yelich is one of the hitters that's made him work. Yelich saw 8 pitches his first AB and 8 pitches his second AB.
And Yelich swings and foul tips it into the glove of Travis d'Arnaud.
But is now 1 for 13 against Zach Wheeler.
And Wheeler has continued a mastery of the Marlins, especially in this ballpark, for whatever reason.
Well, we had the numbers at the beginning of the game. Collectively, the Marlins were 13 out of 82, a 159 average against Wheeler with 23 strikeouts. And we talked about how well he's pitched in this ballpark.
Well, he has 8 strikeouts in this one. And remember, yesterday's starter, the Marlins saw in Atlanta, rolls up the first base line, and it's a foul ball. d'Arnaud tried to capture it. It looked like it was right near the line when he got his glove on it. And so Solano comes back to home plate.
Yeah, he's trying to get there, and he did. He got there just before. It looked like it was going to come back fair. A lot of times a ball that's spinning that way will do that.
That's really close. It's not a reviewable play. Mark Wagner, the home plate umpire, was on it. Fair foul on the infield is not reviewable. 0-2. Solano pulls and foul. Alex Wood punched out a dozen Marlins yesterday. And here Wheeler is with 1 out in the 5th, and he has struck out 8.
Well, as you mentioned, too, a former first-round pick of the Giants.
That one eats David Wright alive. And Solano is aboard.
Yeah, that's a great description. There are different types of errors, but every once in a while, a ground ball, especially if you make that one move back, especially in that case, it certainly ate him up. And that's the term you'll hear. Here he goes. He tries to get in position. It eats him up. And David Wright charged with the error.
It's significant because it brings Stanton up, and it puts Solano at first. And Wheeler misses out. Now Wheeler versus Stanton, part 3. Part 1 was a home run to left. Part 2 was a fly ball to deep center field that Stanton got off the end of the bat. So it looks like Giancarlo is seeing the ball well. The home run is 34th. He's got 99 RBIs. He gets a fastball for a strike. Almost hit him, and he came in twice in his last at bat. 2-1.
Yeah, here comes the fastball, and just getting out of the way.
Wheeler, born in Georgia, high school in Dallas. Stanton had a rip. It's 2-2.
And Wheeler's a big Braves fan growing up, and actually made his major league debut against Atlanta in Atlanta. Well, that was a thrill for him.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, just when you think a pitcher might go with that slider or breaking ball off the plate with 2 strikes on Stanton, he went with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball last pitch.
2-2 is down. Counts full, 3-2. We'll see if Solano moves with 1 out. Not running. Stanton drives it. Left center. Den Decker has room and makes the catch. Boy, he's missed a couple. That one about 380 feet from home plate, and you can see Stanton's reaction.
You know, I don't think he hit this one well either. It didn't sound like it. A little bit down on the hands, just a little, but still halfway on the warning track is Den Decker to make the catch.
And that's the pattern for Wheeler, is to crowd him in. And so here's McGee.
And he knows he just didn't get that one enough. He's so strong that he just doesn't get him enough and still comes close.
McGee takes away. Casey McGee's bounced to second, single to center. One 0 and a strike. Cole Hamels is taking that no-hitter in Atlanta into the bottom of the 6th inning.
He's taking it seriously.
Yes, he is. Pittsburgh's lead in St. Louis is now 3-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Everything else in the National League later this afternoon. Cubs do have an early run and a 1-0 lead over Milwaukee in the 3rd. But the Nationals are in Los Angeles tonight. Giants are in Colorado for the resumption of a game and another game. Not often you see Casey McGee try to back foot a ball, but he did there. He took a shot. Two and two. Lines it in the gap, left center field. Solano should score. Gets to the wall. Here comes Solano. McGee's got a double, and the Marlins are within a run. The swing is coming back little by little for Casey McGee.
Yeah, you're right, Rich. 2 hits today. Casey came into the game a 4-game hit streak. We're seeing signs. Look at the alley when you see Casey McGee drill this ball into left center. Boy, there's a lot of room out there into left center.
.28 doubles now for McGee. Here is Jones. And a breaking ball up from Wheeler, and the Mets bullpen is a beehive. Remember, that bullpen was up when Jones was up in the 3rd. He reached on an error by Dilson Herrera. Miami has had opportunities that they've let get by him. That 3rd inning, Marcell Ozuna struck out with the bags loaded to end the inning. Of course, you go back to the 2nd when Ozuna had the RBI triple with nobody out. Wheeler struck out Saltalamacchia, Echeverria, and then Henderson Alvarez.
Well, the Marlins taking advantage of the error by David Wright.
One and two.
Yeah, the Wright error would have been the second out of the inning. The fly ball by Giancarlo, the third out. So an unearned run, but makes it a one-run game.
One, two, banged into center field. Here comes McGee. Throw is wild. Jones gets to second. McGee scores. And it's 4-4.
There's something about center field today making a throw. We saw the one by Marcell Ozuna. Good swing, and that's going to be it, too, for Wheeler. But a terrific swing by Garrett Jones. Pitches down. Look how he stays on it and goes down. Line drive. And with the single, you see Lagares shading him a little bit. He moves over, tries to make a throw to the plate. It's way offline, and alertly, Jones moves on to second base, too.
4-4 ball game on Labor Day. Wheeler exits. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Game. She's a little camera shy. Big hits by Casey McGee and Garrett Jones. And now Marcell Ozuna with Jones in scoring position. And the Mets having gone to their bullpen. Buddy Carlisle.
Well, you're going to have situations. We'll see it all the month of September. We talked about the Marlins additions in the bullpen with Carter Capps, Dan Jennings back. Every club will make additions, and a lot of additions to bullpens.
Marcell Ozuna fouls one back. So Wheeler can't make it through the fifth. He can't win the ball game, but he can lose it if the Marlins score this run. RBI triple and a strikeout. You got Saltalamacchia on deck.
Buddy Carlisle, by the way, not one of those additions. He's been up for a while.
Bouncer into left field. Jones around third. They'll send him. Then Decker's throw. Cut. And the Marlins lead it. A 2 RBI game for Marcell Ozuna. And 3 consecutive 2-out hits for Miami.
Well, Ozuna feels a whole lot better right now. Putting the Marlins up. Fastball right there. Finds that hole between short and third. Then Decker just an average arm. Garrett Jones able to score. Ball was cut off, so Ozuna had to stay at first base.
It's on to LaMacchia. And Ozuna chased back by Carlisle. A walk and a strikeout, big shift on, and a pitch way outside. The Mets have 3 infielders to the first base side of second. I saw a game the other night late in the ball game where a team had 4 infielders on the right side.
And it's amazing, and at least up until here, they're pitching him away. This is where you have to change your thinking a little bit at the plate.
And a swing and a miss. That was one of those situations late in the game where I believe the bags were loaded with less than 2 outs or nobody out, and a team brought 5 infielders in, and because the hitter was a pull guy, they put 4 guys over on on one side of the infield.
Guys used to say when you're in a bad slump, that's the way it looked. Looked like there were like 8 guys there in the infield.
Ozuna's running. It's taken out. The throw. He's out. Ozuna says safe.
And how about the throw taken by David Wright, the third baseman?
Now Mike Redmond's going to walk out. Ozuna thinks he's safe. We know how this usually goes, so the players are usually wrong about 80% of the time, but a manager's going to come out anyways, and while he does, Rob Leary's going to get to the replay room. Let's take a look and see.
It was a good pick by Wright. Got the short hop. There's the pick.
Where's the tag? Right there. Now, did he tag him or not?
Hard to tell if he clipped him up there.
Or did he get him up on the shoulder? You know what? No challenge. Player was wrong again. But it's 5-4 Fish. Boy, the twists and the turns that this game has taken. Along with Tommy Hunt, Craig Minervini, and Jeff Conine, from the Giancarlo Stanton home run to the Marlins 2-0 lead on the Ozuna triple. Then all of a sudden the low velocity and the concern for Henderson Alvarez. The Mets rallying. Dilson Herrera getting his first Major League homer.
There's been a lot packed into this game.
Ozuna throwing the ball from center field into the Marlins dugout, literally.
See, if you're a teammate right now of Marcell Ozuna, you really want to win this game so you can get all over him and have some fun with him after the game about that throw.
And then the Marlins removing Alvarez, no laughing matter there, with a strained oblique. But then the Fish come roaring back with 3 2-out hits and 3 runs in the 5th, and it's 5-4 Miami. And Brad Hand now can win this ball game if he can continue to pitch well, hang on to the lead, get Lucas Duda, Travis d'Arnaud, and Matt Den Decker here in the 6th.
And Ozuna, with 2 of those RBIs, a triple and a single, with 74 RBIs now on the year.
Pulled hard. Jones got the gate down in time and steps on the bag. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, Rich, you expected the Marlins to come back since this is a holiday, and the Marlins over the years have had very good records on important days in the summer and the baseball season. Here on Labor Day, in fact, they got the best record in all of baseball since they came into play here with a record of 13-5 on Labor Day. The Mets are under 500 on Labor Day, but there are some other holidays that the Marlins have played very well on. In fact, they're over 500 on most of them. As we look at the list there, the Memorial Day, they are 11-9 overall. That's not too bad. Also, on Father's Day, 12-11. Mother's Day, there are a couple of games over 500. Even Independence Day, an even 500. And on Tax Day, they are also over 500 at 10-8. Not too bad, guys.
And they've never been audited.
Not yet.
When's Arbor Day?
Is there still Arbor Day?
Not Ann Arbor Day.
Isn't it in the fall?
I think so. I mean, I think you want to be playing on Arbor Day if it's in October, right? As long as the Marlins don't play Ryan Zimmerman on a holiday, they're okay. Zimmerman had a penchant, especially early in his career, to hurt the Marlins on a variety of holidays.
It's the last Friday every April.
Okay.
So it's surprising. I would have guessed in the fall.
Bobblehead Museum.
Rich, it's a holiday celebrating trees.
That's right. Arbor. Started in 1872. The observance was to plant a tree on Arbor Day. Trees are our friends, Tommy.
And their favorite band would be Green Day.
Nice. Their favorite football team would be Stanford, right? The dancing tree.
Or Green Bay.
Full count to d'Arnaud, who was 0 for 2. Then Decker to follow. And Brad Hand has to feel good about his work so far.
Yes, he does.
Called on an emergency in the 3rd. He got 2 outs in that 3rd. That one escapes into the outfield. d'Arnaud with a base hit.
Brad Hand has given up just the 3 singles, and certainly given Mike Redmond what he wanted to help out that bullpen a little bit.
Rosters today expanding all across baseball. September brings the ability to bring up as many guys that are on the 40-man roster as you want. Most teams add about 5 to 7 players. The Marlins, as we noted, have a couple with Dan Jennings coming off the concussion list. Carter Capps coming on as well. Sam Dyson in the bullpen. And the Marlins probably will add some more as Jacksonville looks like it's a postseason team in Double-A. Teams like it for their players in Double-A and Triple-A that are coming to the big leagues to play in the playoffs, get a taste of what it's like, and try to complete that season and play in some pressure-filled games.
Well, you always like to have that extra catcher around, so I would imagine we'll see JT Realmuto. Saw him earlier. Cole Hamels still has that no-hitter, but I don't think he's going to be able to go 9. So in 108 pitches through 6 innings. 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. So the pitch count, I think, is going to get in the way of Cole Hamels in Atlanta. But the bottom line, Philadelphia still has a 2-0 lead. And just think, Freddie Freeman was happy the Marlins left town.
I'll tell you a guy that's red hot right now is Matt Holliday.
Yes, he is.
And Holliday with another big hit. An RBI double. St. Louis a run behind Pittsburgh. Saltalamacchia and Chuck Hernandez on their way out to the mound as Brad Hand has fallen behind Matt Den Decker 3-0 with Travis d'Arnaud at first. Marlins bullpen, you saw Dyson up. It looks like some more activity as well.
Well, this is going to allow that bullpen to get ready. A little more time, especially with Brad Hand falling behind 3-0.
Wednesday, Marlins and Mets. The Chevron Crazy 8 ticket offer in play. Just go to a participating Chevron, fill up with Chevron with Techron gasoline. Bring your receipt to the ticket office. Get up to 60% off lower level tickets. Next Crazy 8 Wednesday, September 3rd. Yep, that's Wednesday, 7:10. Hand's fastball misses outside. Now let's see what the Marlins do here. Dilson Herrera is homered and bounced into a double play. Figure Dyson is ready. Hernandez calling to find out.
You can make moves a little quicker. The leash is a little shorter in September for most teams, and that's what Mike Redmond's going to do.
Neither team's been able to play with the lead here in this ball game. Marlins had the lead, Mets erased it. Mets had the lead, Marlins erased it. And right now the Mets are threatening with Miami up a run. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen as the Fish and the Mets here on Labor Day with Miami up a run. Tuesday, September 9th, only on FX. Scary stuff. Sam Dyson. Well, I guess when you're dealing with anarchy, Tommy Hutton, there are no boundaries or limits.
And you don't mess with him. Don't mess with Sam Dyson either if he's in the strike zone with that good sinker and slider. And the first batter he'll face, Dilson Herrera, became the youngest Met to homer since Jose Reyes. And Reyes still a little bit younger by about 100 days, but as 20-year-olds hit his first major league home run.
Brad Hand hopeful that Dyson can hold it right here. You would expect that Hand would pick up the win if the Marlins keep this lead throughout and win the ball game. But that doesn't seem easy today.
And that's how you forget in games like this. Sometimes you forget about those situations of adding on runs.
Dilson Herrera lines it to right, and that's in for a hit. Stanton can't get it. It goes to the wall. Here comes d'Arnaud. Then Decker around third, and the throw home. He's in there. And the Mets are back on top. Back and forth they go. Miami and New York. 6-5 Mets.
Well, we talked about Herrera, the 20-year-old, getting an opportunity to play second base. Seems like we always worried about Daniel Murphy getting base hits. Well, another Mets second baseman with a big one on a pitch up in the zone. That's not where Dyson likes to live.
So a two-run triple. And here is Flores. And you got to be aware of a squeeze here. Flores swings and misses.
It is a play that's in the playbook, if you will, of Terry Collins.
Mets have Kurt Neuenhuis on deck. But it's 0-2 now. Dyson bends one outside. Miami's lead short-lived in this one. Dan Jennings in the Marlins pen. Infield in, 1-2 the count. 2-0 Marlins. 4-2 Mets. 5-4 Marlins. 6-5 Mets. And it's only the 6th. Bouncer to short. Echeverria scrambling to his left, gets it, flips on over, and gets the out. Holding third is Herrera.
Little surprised that he wasn't going on contact. Maybe the fact that Terry Collins had a pinch hitter on deck who's going to hit Neuenhuis. But a lot of times with one out, you'll see that runner at third go on contact.
But Kirk Neuenhuis climbs in. Neuenhuis has been up and down, and the Marlins aren't going to pitch to him. They're going to go after Juan Lagares. Neuenhuis up and down between Las Vegas and New York. It's not a bad deal there. You know, sometimes your minor league outpost is not a real desirable city, but I mean, Neuenhuis is either in Las Vegas or New York.
See, I was going to name a couple of cities offhand, but I didn't want to offend anybody.
The Marlins have that set up because you've got New Orleans and Miami.
Jacksonville, a nice place to hang.
Yeah, I think you're right. We probably shouldn't go down the list.
I was going to fire out a couple, but I figured I better hold back.
Southern League did wrap up, and Jacksonville wins the South. Congratulations for winning the South, and good luck in the postseason. We'll keep track.
It's always a fun time for young kids on a minor league team that they have a chance to win a championship.
Now here's Lagares. And I talked about playing in pressure type games. Yeah, in the minor leagues, everybody is playing to win. They play 144 games or whatever it is. But the minor leagues are about development. The managers are there to manage the game, but also develop the players. You get into the postseason, and that changes. Because then, hey, the development phase is over. Let's go out and try to win this thing.
Remember the last time Jacksonville won a championship, it was on a walk-off pinch hit home run by Chris Hatcher. You're going to have Hatch relive that. You have to have him relive that sometime.
Not only that, we need to get the video, and we need to get Hatch to relive it.
Yeah, he could give us the play-by-play.
But I mean, what a great moment. And then, of course, what a unique career to find himself in the big leagues after that as a catcher. Marlins did bring him up, and then back as a pitcher. And he certainly, having watched him over the last 3 years make that transformation, has been an amazing story and fun to watch. Because the more he pitches, the more touch he gets on the secondary pitches. Now, Dyson intentionally walked Neuenhuis. He's fallen behind Lagares. He's made a couple throws over to keep Neuenhuis close. And Lagares fouls it off. This was at the outset of the telecast, two supposedly bright announcers telling you what a great matchup this was between Zach Wheeler and Henderson Alvarez, and on paper it was. Alvarez, best ERA in the National League at home. Wheeler dominant in this ballpark, and they're long gone. Wheeler 4 2/3, 5 runs, 2 of them earned, 8 strikeouts, and of course Alvarez left in the midst of that third inning in which the Mets got 4, and Alvarez was lifted with a strained oblique. I guess the moral of the story is rarely does anything ever end up as it's supposed to on paper.
In this game, that will hold true.
Runner goes. Pitch is taken. No throw by Saltalamacchia. It's a third stolen base by the Mets.
I would say the Mets, more than any team that the Marlins play a lot, steal bases and play aggressive baseball.
I don't think the Marlins have even made a throw on the 3 stolen bases.
No, Wright stole third. Didn't draw a throw.
And Lagares swings and misses. It's 3-2. Granderson on deck. Dyson ends the inning, but the Mets reclaim the lead. Fireworks on Friday with the Braves. At 7:10, fans 21 and older can enjoy $4 domestic beers during happy hour at the Budweiser Bowtie Bar from 5:30 to 6:30. Stay after the game for a fireworks display presented by Waste Management. Go to Marlins.com for tickets. Carlos Torres.
Busy guy out of the bullpen for the Mets this year, 59th appearance.
I suspect we will see a lot of arms before this game is over. We've already seen 6 combined in a 6-5 ball game. Jared Saltalamacchia now. Saltalamacchia struck out and walked. He's behind in the count 0-2. Zach Wheeler 4 2/3. Buddy Carlisle a third of an inning. And now here is Torres. All right, if the Mets keep this lead, let's play Tommy the scorekeeper, which is always fun. Tommy the scorekeeper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Carlisle comes in, and the out he gets is Ozuna caught stealing. Saltalamacchia swings at a ball in the dirt, and he's out. And so Carlisle finishes the 5th, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't retire the hitter, but he
got an out.
He got it out.
Yeah.
Well, the Mets have taken the lead 6-5. So does he get the win?
Yes, he would.
What if Torres comes in and he throws 3 shutout innings?
Doesn't matter. I mean, I think you should have a little leeway in that decision. But I believe, according to the official scorekeeping, the pitcher of record is the pitcher who was in there when the team took the lead.
Look at that bunt. Echeverria is going to beat it out, and the throw trickles into the seats. Dilson Herrera throws it away. That's one of the most violent bunts you'll see. And Echeverria is going to end up at second base.
Well, the pitch was over his head, but he was able to get the job done and actually bunt it out in the area that he wanted to. He wanted to make the second baseman field it, and he beat the throw. Herrera threw it away, and he's at second base. Why wouldn't that happen on a day like today with the way the game's gone?
This has just been all kinds of weird things on Labor Day. Now, the Marlins are going to hit in Dyson's spot, and they'll bring up a former Met who had great success as a pinch hitter with the Mets. Remember that year he had all the pinch hit home runs. Jordanny Valdespin had a pinch hit homer on the road trip.
Yeah, hit one in Atlanta to the opposite field.
So the Mets know what he's all about. And then another left-handed bat in Yelich is on deck. You get good speed at second with Echeverria.
That's been a nice part of Echeverria's game this year. We've seen him get numerous bunt base hits.
Valdespin takes down low, and it's 2-0.
And a lot of that has been with the work that he's done and time that he's put in with Brett Butler.
.30 pitch coming. And Torres looked like he wanted nothing to do with Valdespin for whatever reason.
Well, I don't think by his own choosing. I just think he had trouble throwing strikes. Now he has to deal with the top of the order.
And it's Yelich, who is 0 for 3.
And happy to see Zach Wheeler out of there.
Yeah, Yelich struck out twice against Wheeler. Got to be hard to manage a game for either Mike Redmond or Terry Collins when you have no idea what is going to happen next and all the odd things that have happened already. This has been such an unpredictable game, which makes it fun in a way, but I would expect not so much for a manager. Echeverria at second, Valdespin at first, and here is Yelich. And that misses outside.
Really interesting how far off the line David Wright plays Christian Yelich, almost in the same area he is with Garrett Jones. We've seen Yelich hit a number of balls up that third baseline, especially if they keep throwing him out there.
Torres finally finds the strike zone. Six runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for the Mets. 5 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Miami. And it's 2-1 to Yelich. Yelich into center field. That's a base hit. Echeverria home. Throw coming in, and he is in there. Valdespin to third. It's 6-6.
And here we go again. With Lagares coming up, thinking he had to play at the plate and going to home, Valdespin never hesitated around second base. His best choice would have been to go to third. He probably would have had Valdespin. But a shot by Yelich through the legs, through the wickets of Torres, and Lagares comes up and fires to the plate. Valdez-Bean first to third.
So here's Solano, and there's one out. Stanton is on deck. Yelich drives in his 48th of the season.
Do you think squeeze? We throw it out there every once in a while.
You've got a good bunter.
And another opportunity. I mean, I'm belaboring this point, but another opportunity to get a run. This run would put the ball club ahead with a runner at third, less than 2 out.
You know, it doesn't have to be a squeeze. The old first and third bunt play would work nicely here. The other thing,
the push bunt, similar to what Echeverria did.
Amen. So there's a lot of options. You do have Stanton on deck, but you know what? If you got a chance to get a run, you get a run. Valdez-Bean.
You can't lay it all on Giancarlo every time.
Yelich across the diamond. Now Torres has had trouble throwing strikes, and that might figure into Mike Redmond's thinking.
Absolutely true. When you put a squeeze on, you want a guy who's out there who you've seen that's been around the plate a little bit.
Slow roller towards short, out there and out there. And the Marlins have to settle for a run on a 6-4-3 double play, and that ends the 6th. Who knows what will come about in the 7th. Bertha with the trophies. Now that is a very nice Labor Day AT&T fan photo. Three guesses as to who's pitching now.
That's an easy way for us to identify Mike Dunn, who's come into the game.
Curtis Granderson with Dunn in. So it's been Alvarez, Hand, Dyson, Dunn. And a strike to Granderson, who was bounced out, walked, and struck out. Quickly, it's 0-2. And he got him. That was quick. 3 pitches. Down goes Granderson.
You love to see Mike Dunn do that, get ahead, and when he has that good slider working, especially with a free swinging left-handed hitter like Granderson, he put him away in a hurry. What do you call that? Oh, that's a blender. Look at that blender.
No, I think it's a beer tap. I think it's your own personal one, right?
But it looks like a blender.
It does. That would foul back to the screen. See, look.
That's a little mini tap.
It is. And it looks like those guys have been sitting there for a while.
I think they possibly have had a little bit more than what that holds. Might not be their first one.
David Wright, 2-run single back in the 3rd. There have been so many comebacks in this ball game. It's 6-6 in the 7th. I guess it's appropriate that on Labor Day, this is the 7th pitcher to work already. Sam Dyson, 2/3 of an inning. A hit, a walk, and a strikeout. David Wright. Down he goes.
Well, that was Mike Dunn just rearing back and saying, all right, David Wright, here comes the fastball. It's going to be mid-90s. It's going to be up a little bit. See if he can catch up with it, and he didn't.
Now Lucas Duda. Duda an 0-for-3 ball game. Dunn looks sharp. Mets into the Marlins pen early. Marlins into the Mets pen middle of the game. That one's going to find right field. And Duda has a hit. And he was on a 2 for his last 26 before that hit.
Well, I'll tell you what, too, he was also hitting 151 against left-handed pitching this year. So a rare hit for Lucas Duda against a left-hander.
Now d'Arnaud. Mets catcher. He smokes one into left field of base. And here come the Mets. This is nuts.
Well, after 2 strikeouts, 2 fastballs have been hit pretty well. Duda and d'Arnaud.
So it's 6-6 here, Mets and Marlins. We've been talking about the game in Atlanta where the Phillies have a 5-0 lead over the Braves. Cole Hamels went 6 no-hit innings. The problem was he threw 108 pitches. He walked 5. And so the Phillies have gone to their bullpen. Jake Diekman pitched a Scoreless and hitless 7. And into the ball game now is Ken Giles in the 8th. He's got 2 outs in the 8th. So the Phillies are 4 outs away from a combined no-hitter. Eric Campbell gets the at-bat, and he takes a strike.
Campbell, the righty, pinch hitting for the lefty, Den Decker.
Campbell very versatile, plays a lot of spots and has played in a lot of spots for the Mets this year. 11 starts at third, 13 starts across the diamond at first, had a start at second, 6 in left field, was a DH, also has appeared at shortstop and right field. He's sort of the Ed Lucas of the Mets. One and 2. Toyota trend. Mets and the Marlins this season. Mets have won 5 in a row. The record is 7 in a row. Back in 2004, the Marlins had 10 straight. 1-2 pitch to Eric Campbell.
Campbell may not be out of Dartmouth, but out of Boston College. You were making the Ed Lucas reference.
That's pretty good stuff, though. Boston College, a good hockey rival with some Ivy League schools. Terry Collins working the gum. Mike Redmond pacing the dugout.
Terry Collins went to Eastern Michigan University. Minor league shortstop. Never made it to the major leagues as a player, but managed the Astros for 3 years, the Angels for 3 years.
A lot of second place finishes in both those spots. 3 of them, in fact, in the 3 years in Houston and 2 in Anaheim. He's also managed in Japan, managed the Chinese team in the World Baseball Classic a couple times. Jim Leyland, his hero, wears number 10. He was on Jim Leland's coaching staff in the early 90s when the Pirates came oh so close 3 years in a row. Center field, Ozuna under it and makes a catch. Scoreless inning. Giancarlo leads it off. 7th inning stretch. and Mets. Henderson Alvarez left oblique strain. And for the Mets, some career first, a homer and a triple for Dilson Herrera.
This game has gone in so many different ways. Campbell stays in to play left field. There's been so many twists and turns. So often we give you the game summary and we go through video highlights, but the game sum is best stated just by talking about it and looking at the line score. We'd confuse you too much the other way.
Giancarlo Stanton, a home run in the first, 2 deep fly ball out since. He takes a fastball up and in. Stanton has just missed a couple home runs. The ball he hit in the 5th to the warning track in deep left center, and then the one he hit to deep center field in the 3rd. His home run in the 1st landed in the Clevelander.
Been a couple of balls in the Clevelander today.
Stand up high fly ball down the line. Campbell is in and there, and he makes the catch.
Even that was a strange fly ball. For a minute you thought, well, it's not deep enough, but it's going to hook foul. And it was circled by Eric Campbell out there in left field and had a lot of hang time for him to catch up to it.
We apologize for the fine crowd mic that we have that picks up the noise around home plate and the profanity there. Here's Casey McGee. AJ Ramos in the bullpen. And McGee takes down low. For McGee, a 2-hit ball game. The RBI double. Got an inside fastball and lined it in the gap in left center to drive in a run in the 5th. Singled up the middle in the 3rd. 1 out. Garrett Jones on deck. Jones an RBI single. And McGee walks. So here's Jones. Zach Wheeler 4 2/3. Buddy Carlisle for a 3rd. Carlos Torres, whom the Marlins got a run against in the 6th, into his 2nd inning. And a strike to Jones.
I don't know if he would do it here, but we've seen Casey McGee a few times. He's 4 out of 4. Surprise the opposition and take off and steal a base.
Jones a foul ball. The count's 0-2. Big series starting in Cleveland with the Tigers there, and it's delayed by rain. So the Indians suspended with a 4-2 lead last night against Kansas City in Kansas City. They waited late in the night for that, and they're delayed in Cleveland right now for the start of that one. We're just about ready for the resumption of the Giants and the Rockies. It's 2-2. This is a game from May 22nd. It's the 6th inning. And then those two teams will play another game when that one is resumed and completed. One out. Bottom 7, 6-6. And Jones goes down swinging.
Good live fastball from Torres.
Here comes Ozuna.
We've talked about the strikeout. The Marlins have 5 different hitters with over 100 strikeouts.
Ozuna adding to what has been a really nice year. 74 runs driven in now. He's a homer shy of 20.
Yeah, he's had his peaks and valleys. He's had his slump times, but I think he's worked through them well. He's learned while he's done that, which every hitter has to do.
Pop up back behind first. Herrera is there and he makes the catch, and Miami leaves a runner. 8th inning. Still 6-6. Download the MLB.com at the ballpark mobile app for great features throughout the year. Check in through the app, earn free tickets. Download the free MLB.com at the ballpark app today. There's a look at A.J. Ramos and his numbers. And they're quite nice. An ERA of under 2. You see the strikeouts to walks. And opponents hitting just 170. In this battle of the bullpen, the Marlins have gone deeper than the Mets. They've had to. Henderson Alvarez just 2 1/3 innings before he left with an oblique strain. Mike Dunn worked a scoreless 7th. struck out a pair, gave up 2 hits. So here's Ramos.
One of the keys, Rich, for Ramos and why he's been so successful, he has a number of pitches. He has a number of swing and miss pitches. His fastball's live, his breaking ball, even his changeup. So he can come out of the bullpen, and if one of those secondary pitches isn't working, he can go to the other one.
Well, it's been a eventful day for this guy, Dilson Herrera. And the rookie gets his first major league homer, first major league triple. And he's facing Ramos. Tie game, 8th inning. Coors Light cold hard fact. Youngest players. Rougned Odor, Marlins have seen him. Cubs are on that list with Javier Baez, and it's amazing Bryce Harper is on that list as well. Herrera drives it into left, and Yelich runs in and makes the catch. Well, the Phillies are adding on in Atlanta. That game's not gone to the bottom of the 9th yet. 7-0 Phillies. The story there is that the Phillies have a combined no-hitter. After Cole Hamels started, went 6 innings, didn't give up a hit, threw a lot of pitches, and the bullpen has delivered 2 no-hit innings. And so I guess it's up to, wait, how do you handle that one? You bring Papelbon in to try to complete the no-hitter?
It's interesting that the Braves, by the way, have never had a combined no-no thrown at them. That'll be interesting if you're Ryan Sandberg. What would you do? What do they have? 5-6 runs?
7-0.
A lot of it depends on how active Papelbon has been lately. You know, if he hasn't been used, sure, go ahead and use him. If he has, then you certainly have other choices.
Wilmer Flores is up right now for the Mets. He takes a breaking ball out to Yelich, who makes the catch.
Looks like we're going to see EY Jr. Eric Young Jr. is going to pinch hit.
Well, the Mets have already used Kirk Neuenhuis. They brought Eric Campbell in a double switch. And so here comes Young.
Rough year for Eric Young Jr. Just 227. We know he can run. He has 28 stolen bases.
Young, who saw an awful lot of playing time in the first half of the season, is below 200 since July 1st. And he's made just 8 starts since the All-Star break. Jones got a piece of it. Look at Ramos. With a fast man, Ramos to the rescue.
That's your basic 3-1 put out.
They work on that in spring training, don't they? 6-6. What a weird game this has been. Bottom 8. 6-6 ball game.
That's right. Get the energy out. School tomorrow. Jeurys Familia will be the Mets' third pitcher out of the bullpen, fourth pitcher of the day.
Carlos Torres labors for 2 innings, 2 hits, a run, walked a couple, struck out a couple.
Familia with a very live arm, sinking fastballs. He can stay in the mid-90s, get up to 97 at times.
Saltalamacchia, first out of the chute. He has struck out twice and walked. It is Jonathan Papelbon that comes in and tries to complete that combined no-hitter in Atlanta. Saltalamacchia, liner off the glove of Campbell on the dive, and Saltalamacchia ends up with a double. I mean, there's been some weird bounces. That play by Ramos at first, and now Campbell full out. Looked like it popped right out of his glove.
Yeah, the way things are going, you thought it would pop to Lagares in center and he'd throw Salty out at second, but that didn't happen. This ball was hit well. There's a good swing and a good approach by Saltalamacchia, but the ball kicks away, and by the time Lagares gets to it, Salty ends up at second base. A good way to start this 8th inning.
Echeverria, pitcher spot. You've got Reed Johnson on deck. Now the infield doesn't know what to expect here, whether it's a bunt or Echeverria trying to put it in play. He squares, puts it down. It's a gorgeous one. Familia hesitates, and he's safe. Of course he's safe.
Yeah, you know what? It was the hesitation. I think David Wright may have been calling him off the ball too. But once Familia got to it, the hesitation and then the low throw not able to be handled by Herrera. Beautiful bunt, though, by Echeverria. That's why it all started. Now he's yelling 1-1. David Wright's yelling 1, but there was hesitation and the throw was low. It'll be a sacrifice and then an error to Familia.
Dan Worthen coming out and wanting to know what the heck's going on out here. Reed Johnson is the hitter. Jonathan Papelbon has 2 outs in the 9th inning in Atlanta.
So Wright Sandberg did go with Papelbon.
Yes, he did. Steve Cishek in Miami's bullpen. Bottom 8, Marlins looking to take the lead in a game that has had wild swings, crazy plays. Now 4 errors by the Mets. And let's see what the Mets infield does here. They're going to be in the Saltalamacchia at third, Johnson at the plate, and Echeverria at first.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you have to win a game when the opposition makes 4 errors. Reed Johnson trying to make it an even 1,000.
Yeah, wouldn't it be something if it was a game winner?
Yeah.
He's got 999 career hits. And he's up here with the infield in. In the dirt, Saltalamacchia scores. Echeverria to third. Of course all that would happen. And Miami has their lead. Darno didn't have the glove around. Wild pitch and an E2 on the throw.
Yeah, that throw was right at Familia. I mean, he could have been charged with the error, too.
And the error isn't to allow the run to score. It's allow Echeverria to third.
Yeah, the wild pitch run comes in. That throw was right there. Familia just didn't catch it. He almost caught it on the chin.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't hurt himself. All right, now Johnson's up there, and Echeverria's at third. The infield is still in. Ground ball, right has it, looks the runner back, gets the out. And so up comes Yelich. By the way, Papelbon got all 3 outs, and the Phillies have a combined no-hitter and beat Atlanta. How about that? 7-6 here. The way this game has gone, the Marlins need to get this run in from third base.
Absolutely. They've had other opportunities. Right now, the Marlins should have a 9-6 lead. Yelich isn't going to get the opportunity.
Now they'll pitch to Solano. Remember, he bounced into a double play his last time up.
The only other no-hitters ever pitched at Turner Field, Ubaldo Jimenez and Randy Johnson.
Johnson's was a perfect
game, wasn't it?
So ball 4 about to be delivered to Yelich. And here comes Solano. Now, you know, the other thing we talked about with first and third back when Solano bounced into a double play was Solano bunting on a squeeze, starting the runner from first, and now you've got Yelich, who's Miami's best base stealer, at first base.
You have all kinds of opportunities in this situation to, as they say, get some action going, have some movement instead of standing still and possibly having a double play. You have those options.
Familia. He bunts, and it's a good one. Runner coming home. Etches in there.
Good job. Good job.
Yelich to third.
Get it going. Put the pressure on them. They're a worse team than you are.
Solano ends up at second. And another error by the Mets on a nice safety squeeze. Solano will get the RBI and a sacrifice. And here comes Stanton.
Great job. You got a team that's made 4 or 5 errors. You got to put a little pressure on them. Make them make some more mistakes. And by doing what Solano did, what Mike Redmond put on, that's exactly what happened. Another error charged to this one to the pitcher, a sacrifice, fielder's choice, and an RBI. Throw it all in one.
Terry Collins wants the baseball, and you could see a frustrated manager. Solano comes through, and the Marlins stretch their lead. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. The Marlins have 8 runs in what has been a wild ride of a baseball game that started with a Giancarlo Stanton home run, dissolved from there into comebacks, big plays, not so big plays. Donovan Solano with a safety squeeze and another throwing error by Juris Familia. And that means the Mets are going to dig deeper into their bullpen. Eric Goodell making his major league debut.
Well, it's been that kind of game. The youngster gets to make his major league debut and face Giancarlo Stanton.
Well, sort of. Because they'll walk Stanton. You knew that was coming. And McGee will get the at-bat. McGee's had a good day. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI double.
And we've seen Rich Casey swing the bat a lot better the last 4 or 5 days.
Stand aboard. McGee bags loaded. Marlins looking for insurance. This is one of those ball games, as crazy as it's been, as wild as it's been, as back and forth as it's been, as long as it's been. You lose this game, you feel like you've really taken one.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Slow breaking ball. McGee takes a strike. Yelich, Solano, Stanton. Inning open with a Saltalamacchia double, and remember that popped out of the glove of Campbell as he tried to make a diving catch.
Well, 6 errors for the Mets today. That's the most they've made in any game this year. Their franchise record back in August of '96, they made 7 errors in a game.
Off-speed pitch, and McGee was way out in front of it. One-two coming.
This is also a tough matchup for Casey McGee, never having seen this young pitcher. Hopefully you get a look.
I mean, it looks like he's throwing a split up there.
Yeah, he's also got a curveball, big curveball.
And he's buried him, and it counts 3-2.
But he also has a full count now with bases loaded. If you're Casey McGee, you feel you're going to get a fastball because you figure a young pitcher making his major league debut, not going to drop an off-speed pitch in there, but you just don't know.
McGee ready. Goodell. Wow. That one almost took Christian Yelich with it.
He was looking fastball. He got it. He had that kind of swing, and Yelich can just smile and be thankful he got out of the way. That's off-speed pitch.
So the youngster, let's see if he throws another off-speed pitch. Full count, bags loaded. Fastball up, and he walks McGee, and the Marlins have another run. It's 9-6. And here comes Garrett Jones. Garrett Jones, in his long career, and he's hit a lot of homers, has never hit a grand slam.
And we talked about it the other day. 115 career home runs for Garrett Jones.
Jones had an RBI hit back in the 5th. You know, you look back at that hit and you want to say, as you recap the game, he had a big hit in the 5th. I don't know that you can look back at any hit in this game and say, you know, that was a big hit.
This would be a hard one to recap
or explain. Well, he had that I want my first career grand slam swing.
Yeah, he did. Well, he had that 2-0 swing that you like to see, though.
Of course, Frank Menachino, Marlins hitting coach, would tell you every hit is a big hit. Out there on the turn, out there. And the Mets turn a double play, but the Marlins push across 3 runs. 9-6 to the 9th. And Steve Cishek is in and trying to save this ball game. Some would say there's nothing that could save this ball game. But Cishek will try to nail down a win. Hey, for the Marlins, a win is a win. They come home off the road trip, having dropped 6 of 9 on the trip. Doesn't matter how you get them, you just get them. And a chance to beat the Mets, snap a 5-game losing streak to the Mets. And we talked about it like in the 4th inning, how difficult this game has to be to manage, where nothing is going as planned. The Mets have made 6 errors in the game. The Marlins have had numerous opportunities to get runners home from third and have struggled to do it. But somehow the Marlins with a 9-6 lead. And Cishek trying to get an early start on Marlins Live. Brought to you by Checkers. Now, Craig Matervini and Jeff Conine, they will recap the game. Tommy and I,
we wish them all the best.
Tommy and I will be on the turnpike.
If the score stands and the Marlins go on to win this game, A.J. Ramos will run his record to 6-0.
Cishek gets top of the order. Lagares, Granderson, Wright. And he throws the strike. Cishek looked sharp the other night in Atlanta on Saturday night. It wasn't a save situation. He came into a 4-0 game and worked a scoreless ninth, then struck out 3, gave up a base hit. In the air, foul territory, and out of play. Brad Penny starts tomorrow. Jonathan Neese for the Mets.
You know, in one area, the Marlins certainly have been able to take advantage of the sloppy play of the Mets, the 6 errors. In another area, you pointed out too, the opportunities to really have put more runs up on the scoreboard, leaving runners at third less than 2 out.
Cishek just missed, and it's 2-2. And it was out. Mark Wegner's had a pretty good day behind the plate. Jam shot right center. Ozuna's there. And he runs it down. You really, Tommy, and this is year 3 in this ballpark. And this is the first year that the Marlins have had this outfield intact for a full season. You really see the necessity and the benefit of having range and speed in this ballpark. And it was I think a month ago that the Marlins had the best range factor and all of that in all of baseball with this young outfield, with Yelich in left, Ozuna in center, and Stanton in right.
I think in a lot of ballparks you talk about that where you need range and speed in center field, and that's true. In this ballpark you really need that in all 3 outfield spots, and the Marlins have that. They have the range and speed with Yelich. Stanton covers a lot of ground, has a strong arm in right field, and certainly Ozuna in center.
And of course, saw a list the other day, the Marlins outfield combined has the best OPS of any outfield in baseball. So there's that too. One-two pitch, strike 3 called. Granderson goes down.
You just love to add a little more good news to everything, and so far so good for Cishek. He's looked really good.
And that was a strike.
Yeah.
Wegner stuck the call. Granderson questioned it, but it had the plate. And here is David Wright. And he fouls it off. Labor Day, and I guess it's appropriate that the Marlins and the Mets are working on a 3.5-hour game. It has been entertaining. Got him! Ball game! What a weird and wild And the Marlins beat the Mets 9-6. Henderson Alvarez, who left with a strained oblique. You can see him pointing to his side. Let's hope that he's all right. The bullpen comes in and pitches well. And the Marlins manufacture runs late to beat the Mets, snapping a 5-game losing streak to the Mets and opening a 3-game set with a win. And Big G goes deep. 34 on the season for Stanton. He's an RBI shy of 100.